winning Academy doesn't mean too much in terms of being LCS level because you can get carried. Like FlyQuest got carried last split by Keen and Shrimp. I don't want to win, or I do want to win, obviously, but I want to prove myself as a player more than I want to win. And obviously, you can do both at the same time. So I just want to prove that I'm not being carried by Piglet and I can do my own job and I'm a good player without him.
Hello and welcome back, League fans, for Game 4 of Clutch Gaming Academy versus FlyQuest.
That's some words. I don't know what else to say. That was a big shot at the rest of those guys.
I feel like in general, both bot lanes here have kind of taken jabs at the other team, which I appreciate because, again, there's been a lot of focus there in that matchup. But this time around, we're actually going to have a look at Sun, who had much better. I mean, he had a good Akali game the first go-around, but unfortunately, the comp matchup just felt so bad, and FlyQuest played really well around the map that he couldn't do anything. This time he got a lead, and then he did everything with it.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely ran over this game, and 3 solo kills was a big part of why they were able to find those early game advantages, which they needed every single one of those because they were not super clean about closing the game out. But, you know, he's really stepping up and showing that he will play this assassin versus assassin matchup and usually do super well on it. We saw both blue side games, he took the assassin, but on the red side, he opted into the more control mage matchup of the Ryze versus the Ori. So I want to see what they do now on red side. I like their draft in game 2 and thought if they just didn't lose early game as hard as they did, it would have been a lot easier. So I'm very curious to see if they stick with the very snowball-oriented approach that they've been doing on blue side or if they go back to their first red side draft.
We'll have to see because Champ Site will be starting in just a moment here. And like you said, FlyQuest is back on the blue side where they banned Akali in the last go-round. So we'll have to see what happens here. But I think in general, I like in best of fives how these drafts always evolve.
There's the Akali first ban. Instantly. Did not like what they saw last game out of that.
Aatrox again, probably going to be joined by Nocturne in just a few moments. And also the Rakan ban here, which I don't mind. I mean, Quan had good games on Braum and Alistar, and Rakan is a very powerful champion. But if you're just not feeling it after that last game, which I can maybe imagine is something that's going through, just play the thing you've already played that you know as well, and just take Rakan away from your opponent.
Right, I think it's the kind of thing where a lot of times people see Rakan and Xayah played at a high level and think it looks very face roll, when it's actually a pretty hard lane to play from what most pros say and like learn how to do all the matchups and stuff. And I think that was an example of a game where they got caught out by Alistar a lot of times when they were grouped up or something. And I can understand them saying, all right, that didn't work out so well. Quan had 2 great games on Alistar and Braum, like you said. The Rakan didn't work out, and I don't want to give it to Vulcan, so let's just ban it. And I think that's a very appropriate response. But otherwise, a lot of the comp that they got on red side for Clutch is still available. They can easily end up with everything but the Tahm Kench that they had as well.
All right, well, Kindred Nocturne banned, Tahm Kench also banned away, which I do like. I think, again, if you're just going to reduce your supports to Alistar Braum, both are comfortable in that matchup, and I think Quan probably feels pretty good, especially if they're trying to win or go even in the 2v2. You want to kind of reduce the amount of possible matchups you could have. First pick Trundle, though, is kind of an interesting one, but apparently that's when Meteos feels most comfortable. And Piglet says, fine, you take Trundle, I'll take your Varus.
And I'm surprised to see the Trundle priority go over the Varus. I don't think there's been that many high priority things this game outside of the Akali, or excuse me, this series. And the Trundle, obviously both teams like to play it a lot, and it's a great champion, but the Varus was great for Ahri early on the first 2 games, and surprised to see that one not taken. We'll see what they choose to pair with it. This is Piglet's first time out. They'll go with the Alistar this time.
Yep, so kind of giving over the Braum, but I think Vulcan going off maybe the momentum of the last game here. Also maybe a better pick to protect Piglet with.
I think he had a good Alistar game last game as well, and they want him to have some of that initiation potential, which some of their drafts sometimes look like they don't get enough of. Last game, a lot of squishies, and he was the only, engaged in frontline, and still worked out for them. So I can understand why they want something with a little bit more autonomy than the Braum, but hey-oh.
Kai'Sa Braum, that's a throwback.
Yeah, not the strongest laning phase of the 2, but with Braum, you can usually eke out most laning phases at a CS deficit, and then you now have the better 5v5 marksman champion for the most part, and that was something we were talking about wanting in this series because every game feels like it's going to stall out. Even as explosive as last game was, it's still, like you said, reached 43 minutes or something.
Yep, and there's Graves into the Trundle once again for Moon. The other thing I like about Alistar is it kind of insulates you against LeBlanc. You know, in the last game when you can't, or first game when you can't stop Pekkanut from diving in, things get really bad. So Brom with kind of that delayed CC, despite being a good Warden, can't do too much more. Cannon though the ban away. Looks like Clutch Gaming did not like that one.
It was funny, they were the ones playing it. I think they don't like it as a safe blue side pick where if you're going to counter it, you have to really try and hard counter it with things like the Jace. And even though it worked out very well and was a pressure point for FlyQuest last game, the Jace pick still is going to fail to perform in the 5v5. And so if you're thinking, all right, they take AP Kennen, I don't really get winning matchups, and then it's still going to be good in the late game, I can understand why that Kennen gets taken away from Clutch, so that way they can actually counter pick effectively on red side.
True gets banned again here by FlyQuest, so reducing some of the tankier people they could have in the top lane. And there's Poppy banned by Clutch, so a lot of top lane champions being taken off the board right now.
Definitely the case. A lot of fighters being played up in the top side so far this game, or this series, excuse me. I don't know what they're going to go with from here, because last time we got in a situation like this, it was a blind Ornn into a Poppy, and obviously we're not going to get that again. GP is something that's been up and continues to be up, and it doesn't feel like either player wants to play it, though I know Max Sherwood has put games on it.
There's Ornn banned away, though, by FlyQuest, so kind of reducing a lot of the tanks out of the pool. Probably means a push to Gragas, I guess, actually. One of the tanks kind of left, although we'll see what Clutch do in a select still with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, one of their solo laners we're going to get blinded, or excuse me, countered. They could potentially blind Arise and then flex it, but instead, they do get the very strong tank counter pick in the Rumble.
Yeah, it's funny. We've kind of like knows this guy for so long. It's felt like a a tank role player, but this time around he's playing Rumble. Now they're actually going to take LeBlanc again here for Pekkanut.
Well, so No's second most played champion this split is actually the Rumble, and so when he's not playing Mundo, Poppy, Malphite, Cho'Gath, those kinds of things, the Rumble is the one that he likes to go to the most in those matchups. So no surprise to see that, and we might just get I kind of like the Malzahar more, I think. Just have a very strong pick comp then. Instead, it's going to be the Zoe. Last second flipping around. Maybe misclick the Ziggs. I wonder if that was a panic.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been scary. Get that instead. Instead, we get Sun's 5-in-1 Zoe, which he always seems to get whenever he wants. We'll see if he'll be able to pull this one off.
Interesting to see that he didn't want it throughout a lot of the series already, as it has gone unnoticed so far, but not a bad time to play a champion that you've got a solid win rate on, given that Clutch only need one more win to finish off this series and advance to the semifinals.
See if they can get it here. Going back to a pretty standard team comp, all things considered. FlyQuest are the ones who have a little bit more going on now. They have the Rumble counter pick, which is a huge DPS threat and a lane threat. Kind of have to give up some tankiness and CC for it, though. They have Trundle, no CC. LeBlanc, not really CC. Kai'Sa, no CC. And then you have the Braum to try and protect. Not much engage at all on this team comp, but plenty of damage.
We saw Pekkanut do well on the LeBlanc in the first game we played with it. And I think Eri is due for a big carry performance here, given his form throughout the year, and especially the summer in Academy. Kai'Sa is a champion that can absolutely destroy a game on your own if you're able to get the farm and play well, but not an easy thing to do, especially against the likes of Gragas and Alistar.
No, going to be a tall order here. Lots of engage tools available, lots of pick off too at any point. A flash, bar assault, flash, Alistar engage, any of that stuff can go in and lock you down and stop you from being that slippery late game hyper carry that Kai'Sa becomes.
And in general, if you get bubbled on the side of flight, you're probably going to die. That's the Zoe way.
Oh yeah, and a bit of a tough matchup, I would assume, into the LeBlanc, usually struggling versus the Assassins, and then as well as the fact that FlyQuest can go for a 1-3-1 where they split Rumble and the LeBlanc, or maybe just a 4-1, and it does feel a little difficult for Clutch to answer Pekkanut if he does get ahead.
Definitely a tense spot here for FlyQuest, but certainly been in spots to win, I'd say, all of these games. Been actually a pretty close series altogether here.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Maybe wondering if we get a change up here. Quan does get some damage onto Vulcan, but looks like no invade. Wouldn't be a bad time to mix things up, but looks like the teams are continuing to play safe here at level 1.
Yeah, there hasn't been too much level 1 aggression. this game
I feel
or
like it's
this
good
series.
to throw one in at some point.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, especially I was talking with you about it, like the level 1s that you can do with champions that have gap closers in CC level 1. So things like a Gragas, things like a Rakan taking W.
Minions have spawned.
Pike with E is another one, and you can find some cheesy paths to kind of find kills onto people, and surprised the amount of people who don't go for that stuff. Obviously, this game not really any options unless you want to start that with an E on Gragas. That's okay in the jungle, really not advisable in lane, especially versus Rumble. So not quite the setup this time to be able to do it, but it is always nice to see people willing to risk and go for non-standard things in a best of 5.
Pekkanov already starting off with some aggression on the Sun. Does proc the electrocute, but Sun procs it right back. Meteos also starting solo on his red buff. Looks like the same for Moon as both bot lanes want to get down there early and contest the wave.
Yeah, not too much of a surprise to see, given that a lot of the time Piglet and Vulcan have been getting the level 2 push advantage for themselves. And that has kind of put Ari and Quan on the back foot for a lot of the laning phase. And with the Kai'Sa Braum, you don't want to cede any advantages because you're probably not going to win the lane anyways. So don't want to fall behind because they leashed and you didn't.
We'll see how this level 2 looks. Clutch, I think, have gotten the better end of a lot of the exchanges, but FlyQuest, at least early laning, have done pretty well. And remember in game 1, they actually handily won the lane. So that level 2 is all around. But again, Ari and Kong going to have to be careful versus what can be a pretty potent duo. Pekkanov also just kind of flying around the minions. Looks like early on, Paddlestar's doing a good job pushing in. But he's just trying to get the harass down and farm it up safely.
Yeah. And LeBlanc taking Cleanse this game. A little surprising, but a pretty common pick versus Zoe.
Kind of the tax you pay against Zoe in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to go for something more aggressive, given that, you know, you are trying to get some solo kills on there, but feels like it's just not worth the risk of losing a game because you got hit by a bubble.
Deja vu here as well. This is actually, I think, the path we saw last time around, but this time Meteos is not in position to punish, despite Pekkanov maybe being available. So I think a bit of Sun's pressure helping out there. It does steal away the Raptor camp successfully.
Yep, Meteos going for more of a full clear. Start with the red. I think he went Krugs even, given that those are down. And then wrapped up back to the top side. Going for the full clear. As we get a lot slower paced game than the last game. Last time we had, what, first blood at 4:30? I guess we can still get that.
That's true. Don't count it out. Just under a minute to go. Oh, Sun. Oh, we did get it. Picks up a smite. Gonna smite a creep soon. Probably the cannon.
Good smite Pekkanov.
Ooh. That's the mix-up they do not expect. Oh, that was cute. He tried to, like,
shoot it through the...
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out.
Kind of the Blitzcrank smite situation.
Yeah. Not going to happen.
We smite him.
He didn't do it. Not going to do it. Tried to bubble him on the way in. We're getting extended mid lane
Coverage.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't like watching Zoe. I just don't. Well, I just don't like the champ, I guess, is the problem with
You
it.
and
Oh, thank
everybody
you,
else.
observers. Thank you.
You
Yeah.
and everybody else except me. It's always great, everyone.
It's not too much of a surprise, though, that this is a slower game. Once again, the comps are pretty close to each other. The biggest difference, again, being the lack of a tank on FlyQuest's top lane. But no surprise, Rumble is bullying Gragas up there. 10 CS lead already generated, and you see him really pushed up on that half of the map. And if they're aware of what Moon is doing and the path that he's clearing, you know that you're free to push up on blue side because, for the most part, junglers start red, clear down and away, and unless they're going to kind of give themselves a worse clear for the opportunity to gank you, they're not going to do it, and No has been abusing that fact, making Max Strobo's life not very difficult, to the point where Max Strobo's probably going to back and teleport in.
Looks like someone may have snuck down here, though. I believe Meteos is hanging out into the brush. Well, it looks like kind of tough to get anywhere with it, so instead he'll move into the jungle. No camps for him to take, though. So back down we go.
Yep. Undetected by Clutch Gaming, not quite sure where he is. And as a response, Clutch Gaming and Piglet are playing very respectfully to the potential gank, which sometimes you don't see out of Piglet. But gonna do his, giving them the respect this time around.
Actually, a completed recall there for Ari, who does have TP this game, who has taken every single game, I believe.
Yeah, Ari's been taking the heal in almost every game, which has probably helped them in a couple situations where Clutch would not be able to trade back quite how they want to. And it's interesting because of what you heard both bot lanes think about each other. A lot of people having the opinion that FlyQuest Academy was boosted effectively by Keen and Shrimp and Spring. They were definitely, you know, the primary focus points of that team comp. But like we saw No doing in Game 1 on the Poppy, he was a setup a lot of the time. And I think they're trying to show that they are more than just the setup.
I think Noah's had a great series, actually. Every matchup, and he's been playing, you know, more aggressively. As Vulcan does get a nice stun after the pulverize there. Quan just in time with the door. Actually going to turn it back around. Flash auto, that's it! Eri takes down Vulcan. And now Piglet going to get pressure, but we'll hold on to the flash.
Once again, we see them answering back. The exhaust coming out. All summoners being used on that bot side trade, where Piglet didn't receive any attention. And that's why Braum is so good in these melee matchups, is if you miscalculate your all-in, he will have a very long chase down sequence to get back to safety with the slows and stuns that come through. Here's Moon, though.
Oh, flash is fed onto Eri into the smoke screen. Dance around the cube, but he may be able to live here. One more order's going to do it. That's Moon getting the shutdown.
Knowing that they had no flashes, Moon just instantly goes in. Quan gives Eri the tag to potentially give him the stun to get away, but the autos were in flight mid-air as Moon got his last auto attack off. So even though he got stunned, the shot was already going through. And we'll take a look at the initial 2v2 as the TP comes in. They're trying to punish it. Nice stun here, but keeps walking forward after the exhaust comes out and the stun comes through. Nothing left for Vulcan to do. No cooldowns, no nothing, and he's not throwing any more auto attacks in. So just kind of hovering very far forward without contributing anymore. And since Piglet's exhausted, you got the summoner advantage out. Kind of just went a little too aggressive there.
Good stuff there for the Kai'Sa lane, because getting ahead is not something you always expect. And when Piglet recalls, Meteos actually moves in, cancels it, and then starts up to Drake once more. We're going to give FlyQuest a very early Infernal this time around. Mark will be pleased to know that the first Drake is somehow Infernal.
Let's go.
Usually we see some fights for this one, but not the case, unfortunately, on the Clutch side.
Yeah, Piglet had backed off, and so even though they had pretty good vision of what was going on, they did not have the manpower to do anything about it. And as well as the fact, worth noting that we talked about Max Strobo's TP up onto the top side after he got chunked out by the Rumble. No was able to hold on to his, so he got back to lane with TP advantage, and that's going to stem a lot of aggression that Clutch could be looking for on the bot side of the map. So even if they wanted and had Piglet in position to do something about that, there's no way they want to risk a teleport level 6 Rumble fight that he is so famous for years ago.
Yep, with the Silk Shoes as well as that first item. Certainly a threat in that situation. Turn back to the mid lane. Sun trying to get some poke down, but Pekimor's doing well once again on the LeBlanc. Kind of interesting that it took him this long to go back to the champion in some ways, but maybe again, we know he's comfy on the rise. Maybe the matchups are just something that feels like he wants to know his way around. No, still harassing Max Strobo, although the CS has even back out, thanks mostly in part to Max Strobo's TP.
And this is one of those, unless they get a really big teleport play from the advantage, it's going to be really hard to feel what No has given his team here. As a spectator, as a player, you know Piglet knows he can't go as aggressive as he probably wants to, can't contest things, and well, maybe they don't, as they start setting up for a dive here.
Enough roaming down, here's 4 people in the bot lane. Meteos a little far away, but FlyQuest should be able to defend here, I think.
I'm wondering if Meteos showed somewhere to know that this was coming. The TP's coming through, but they've already mostly backed off. Can ult.
Yeah, not about equalizer at all. Quan still trying to get in. Has Glacial Fissure ready. Moon is burning down pretty low here as Quan doesn't fish out with the ulti.
Meteos is on the backside, but
maybe they can at least counter for some turret pressure here, but see how well Clutch can thin the wave out. Looks like Moon and Piglet doing a pretty easy job of that. And that's going to be a pretty ineffective TP.
All right, so just as I was singing the praises that No had done to get his team the advantage, a little slow on the TP to try and get a TP flank off. It was a nice equalizer because there's no flash on a lot of the members on Clutch Gaming's bot lane. And so you saw Moon burn very low, but Piglet just shoots his ult out at No, doesn't want to flash over it and get in melee range, of course, which makes a lot of sense. And as a result, doesn't actually achieve anything with that TP, loses his ultimate, gives Gragas a chance to catch back up in CS and everything and get some turret damage down. And the extra bummer from this is the fact that Max Strobo's TP is going to be up in just about 40 seconds, and then he can try and use his advantage better.
Well, that Pekimor with blue buff is actually doing a nice job here in mid lane, so maybe he can be the one to leave the lane. Get some pressure happening in the side lane. Still trying to harass Sun though. Does get the Q down, but no real follow-up. And Meteos. Rift Herald once again. This man always has objectives on the brain.
Yep. And so far, it's been working out pretty well for the side of FlyQuest. They have, I would say, inarguably had better objective control and focus. Not only in the games that they win, where they have 3 Drakes, but when they lose, getting Infernal Drakes from their enemy and getting Baron buffs just barely stolen away. So I think Meteos has had a really good series, but it's really tough against this team that Clutch Gaming, some of the stuff they're pulling out is hard to deal with as a jungler.
But redemption not enough there for Sun. Rift Herald over to Meteos. See where they look to use that. And again, Eri still playing cautiously here.
It's one of those situations that you often hear people talk about when you're up against the global, attack the global. Wouldn't mind seeing that potentially if they can get up to the top side with no to use that, who should have priority in that matchup. You're going to have a hard time contesting anything down the bot lane with the lack of TP, so just go for that objective trade, and Meteos, being the veteran jungler he is, I'm sure he knows that.
Moon though continuing to counter jungle, takes the Raptor camp again.
Ooh, they're going to try and use it mid since they got a recall timing on Sun. I'm sure Peckinwolf caught him recalling, communicated that to his team, and they 3-man collapse here. Maybe able to break this turret extremely quickly.
Yeah, Moon ults and doesn't really get much of the wave. Rift Herald also here, but not enough follow-up damage. Sun does make it back in time. That's twice now I feel like Meteos has tried to kind of turbo use the Herald and it's kind of cost them.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like the idea.
Sure.
It's just one of those times that the window is just a little off as...
Oh, bubble down. This is a really nice spot for Peckinwolf.
Yeah, nice trade.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things you were saying. Like, LeBlanc can just dance around Zoe Q. Like, despite all the shenanigans and portal jumping, is actually pretty immobile.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't have a great gap closer onto Zoe and it's later in the game and she's shooting her ease through walls, yeah, that ultimate's really hard to punish. But in lane, not quite the case.
Ooh, nice bubble though.
Here comes a... Well, he's not going to need it.
Meteos protecting. Vulcan did roam up to try and threaten the mid lane, but Meteos in the right spot. So no need to do too much else there. And actually going to get the control. Oh no, another nice bubble. Now it's Meteos that's in trouble. He pops up to get before he goes him, but it doesn't matter at all. Vulcan just kills him.
And that's why we talked about the cleanse on LeBlanc. If you ever find that situation, of course, junglers cannot take it. Vulcan's still out of lane. Meteos just barely gets hit by that bubble and gets blown up. Graves bringing plenty of burst himself there. Warrior was completed at the time.
Another nice spot there for Vulcan and Moon, who are actually trying to dive the LeBlanc with and cleanse up.
Yeah, but she has no mana, so I don't know if she'll be able to really get out of this one. Does bait the TP, but in full retreat mode.
That's exhausted. Chain's gonna land. Sun can't follow up, and that's a flash over the wall for Sun. Got another flash ready to go. Peckinwolf now distorts over into the red buff.
So he got barely enough mana for the W. Sun's gonna turn around and just let him recall. Doesn't want to chase into the brush. A little surprised at that. Instead, going to the mid lane to maybe try and help finish this one off.
Sec 2 reacting in for FlyQuest, so should be able to keep the mid tower up for a little while longer. Very interesting trades back and forth, but Peckinwolf does get out safely.
Bit of a strange chain of events there where I can understand not wanting to get tunneled and lose too much tempo, chasing a kill against a very slippery LeBlanc, but with no mana up and running away from you into your base with the Gragas cutting off the other escape plan in the top side, I would have thought Sun wanted that 300 gold, especially since they were too slow getting to the mid lane turret. And as a result, what was a very intelligent dive attempt, I think, when you look at all the resources available, just came up short.
No, also rotating down, so his pressure, despite the CS being close, is actually converting pretty nicely here. He's actually going to sit in mid and look to finish off the turret here, but again, Moon is in the right spot to try and wave clear and make sure the turrets can stay up for a bit longer. That bonus gold is still available for both teams.
Yeah, we've seen a fair amount of these kind of... Ooh, this might...
Nice portal jump.
Yeah, good job breaking the tether off. But this is one of those games, and we've seen a couple times, where there feels like there's a lot of mid-lane sieges that don't go anywhere. I think it was game 2 that resulted in one team getting a kill into a siege, into not finishing the turret. 2 more kills going to the other team, who then finish 2 turrets, but then die, and then the other team gets a turret. Those are the kinds of extended mid-lane sequences that you don't really want to see, as people are getting really greedy. Feels like we've seen a couple of those that haven't quite had as big of a punish on them.
Down here in the bot side, Piglet actually diverting a little from the standard Varus stuff in these kind of builds. Oh, nice Shiny Corruption. There is Vulcan in, but a nice glacial vision from Quan's actually going to maybe keep the rest alive. Aery's still there. Pops a Killer Instinct, goes in after Piglet, but Quan's already dead. TP in just to make sure nothing else bad happens, but is cancelled there.
That was a really strange sequence of events where I think the Rage Blade actually was huge in that exchange. As we see, hold on here. Not going to get anything. That was a really cool play where normally I don't like the Rage Blade first, but that was such an extended trading sequence. He definitely was at max stacks and was able to get a lot of damage off because of it. And the side of FlyQuest, it's hard to talk about that play with this all happening in the mid lane. They get the bot lane turret. They tried to turn that one around kind of like they did the last time, but Piglet was untouched, sat through the exhaust and slowed all his damage. So by the time Aery took the Killer Instinct to try and re-aggress on the Piglet, Quan was about to die to Piglet, and so he just gets popped and Quan runs away. Not great awareness on how that trade was going to play out.
Yeah, and that was where I was going, because we usually see Blade and Ruin King first for a bit of an easier transition, but Piglet not interested in that. Wants to just take his advantage, build the most damage right now, and then just outplay you.
Yeah, and speaking of different things Piglet's doing, didn't notice at first. He went press the attack Varus instead of the lethal tempo.
And then this is what happens.
Yeah, so you see him stacking up the attacks onto the Quan. He goes in, tries to flash, but I mean, Piglet with the, I believe he got the WQ off, the new Varus W, of course, new quote unquote, it's been around for a while at this point, but getting a lot of execute damage there and really finished him off with the press the attack bonus damage that you wouldn't get from lethal tempo.
No, also makes sense why Hayes maybe going Rage Blade. Again, wants to kind of bolster some of the early to mid game power of Varus rather than lean on lethal tempo for more late game team fighting action.
I'm looking at him going with the Zeal second. I guess what he was thinking was he wants a crit-based build to have better late game and doesn't want to have to go for the Blade of the Rune King. Because you're almost always going to get Ginsu's on Varus. The question is when. And if you get Blade of the Rune King first, you're not going to Ginsu's the second, which means you're not getting crit items till third, which is pretty late into the game. And Piglet, knowing that these games are going late, is saying, I don't need the Blade of the Rune King. I have a better laning phase here. I'm going to take the greedier, quote-unquote, build path to get me to my item spikes stronger and faster. So I actually really like this decision by Piglet.
Yep.
Not quite as sold on the press the attack part, but
Sure.
I can understand the Ginsu's thought.
I think makes, again, looking back with Rumble instead of Poppy on the top lane.
Uh-oh.
Tying the picture together. Moon here looking for a gank. Gets for the minions. Flash, flash. No out of there.
A little surprised at how aggressive FlyQuest wanted to play that one, as Max Trobo was not down with the flash all in. He just kind of hucked his ultimate out there like, hope this helps you, bro. And instead of just taking the free flash from No and letting Moon chase him down and get a flash, they actually go for the trade. And now they're not really in position to be able to punish him. A bit unfortunate there.
Yep, No actually stays up there for a little while longer, and all this action has left Aery free time in the bot lane to take down a turret and also give FlyQuest Academy a Drake. So Moon's presence in the top side actually costing Clutch quite a lot on the bot side as far as objectives go.
This is the kind of consistent problem that Clutch Gaming runs into. I feel like they've, for the most part, played the laning phase better. That's why they're 3-1 in kills. But Meteos just has such a good feeling for the pace of the game. He gets so many more objectives despite not really having pressure in those positions. 2 Drakes and a... oh, hold on. Moon's about to die.
Yes?
No?
Nope.
Nope.
Drinker kicks in, knows silences himself, W misses, and everything's A-okay.
But yeah, Meteos' feel for the game just gets them so many advantages that this team feels like they'd have a hard time getting if the enemy jungler was on Meteos' level. And I think he's definitely putting on not the flashiest show like it's a Rengar getting 4 kills, but this is exactly what you want to see out of a competitive jungler.
Have to agree, as Meteos has had pretty solid year, all things considered. I mean, I'm sure personally for himself,
Not happy about it.
Would rather be playing in the LCS, but both in Academy and in the LCS has shown to still be a very strong player and is a very competitive person. So even though he's having fun talking about Academy Worlds, he's certainly someone that's taking every game seriously, regardless of where he plays.
Yeah, I mean, he's always had the trollier attitude, so no surprise to see it carry over despite wanting to win this pretty badly. And putting on a good performance right now. And FlyQuest is by no means out of it. We've seen this exact story
don't worry
every
about
game.
This game, just give it 21 minutes, I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's see who gets the first Baron, because they'll probably lose.
I mean, yeah. It's a relatively good barometer of a lot of games in the league. Packenwolf might have had that, but didn't quite connect the chain.
Yeah, that was really close by Sun. Did have a barrier already, or did he pick that up after? think he got that after because he dropped he dropped his real ignite and picked up a barrier after because that was a bit of a scary situation. Now Piglet, with no one here to help him, kind of getting worked around the map as FlyQuest bot lane out of nowhere is about to take 2 turrets.
Corruption about to set a 3v3, but the Glacial Fissure is good. Eri just dodging in and trying to kill Piglet, but the turret is still up. A good double pulvers. Moon actually takes down Quan. Piglet still low, finally dies. But it's only 2 dead as Eri and No. Now with Pekkalov actually still trying to maybe complete this play. Very dangerous here as Eri is playing with fire, but it gets knocked out by Max Strobo. Flashes out to safety, just barely. Doesn't go down. Eri still maybe fighting his way out of this one. But now Sun's around here. Holdo Dong Auto, easy kill with a shutdown onto Alistar is good. Pekkalov though taking up the turret is also going to die. And Clutch under a turret get an ace.
And Sun made his way up there too. They actually are able to turn that one around. Great play by almost every member of Clutch Gaming. FlyQuest played it pretty well, all things considered themselves, but just not quite coordinated off enough on the initial attempt onto Piglet, who was able to kite that down towards his team and live long enough to create a very, very messy situation in that 5v5.
And I like that FlyQuest are playing a bit more aggressively, but maybe just take the tower. We'll have to see, because they did this instead.
Yeah, so Piglet knows the wraparound is coming, so he tries to kick it off right away. Once Eri goes in, actually flashes forward to the other side and starts focusing down the Braum, kiting into Moon, so they're able to trade there. This forces Meteos to flash forward, who then gets cleaned up as well. Eri's able to kite out, but it's now this 3-for-3 as Sun is trying to get back involved in this play. Not great communication on the flash body slam. If Moon was more on the same page, they're able to get that kill right away, and that causes Pekkalov to have a chance to punish with the help of No, but there's just so much CC between the Gragas and the Alistar, they're able to trade this one back, and Pekkalov too far forward to be able to get out. And Sun, during that whole skirmish underneath the turret, found that extra cleanup kill. We're not done yet!
Whoa, Piglet died. No actually takes him out now. Moon on the right-hand side is going to get burnt down by the Rumble. Max Trovo not in time to save his teammates. And now actually maybe going to go down. He's fighting No as best he can, but Meteos with the Trump is going to slow him down. 5 from Fly, barreling down here, trying to get a pick off through the jungle. But a bubble lands, the door is up. As Sun tries to redirect the paddle side towards Meteos. And somehow he pop out a replay, and FlyQuest got a turret and 2 kills as Pekkalov also tries to dive back in. Does he take the W back? No, he's not greedy enough to try and pick off Sun. But we were talking about the mid-games being slow. They must have heard us, Mark.
Yeah, I love this. Clutch Gaming feels like they were in control after that ace. They grabbed the top turret as well, and so FlyQuest say, all right, boys, our playoff dreams are slipping away. Let's start playing with a little bit more gusto, and they instantly turret dive mid lane as well off the reset by Clutch, which was probably a little slow given that they had to stick around for that top turret. We'll see how this one kicks off. They just say, Piglet's mid. How do they get onto him? They just rumble ult him out of nowhere? Oh, a nice pillar into the Eri ult in with the rumble ult on top. That was really, really well done, kind of out of nowhere. That's kind of the old Yasuo combo where you trundle pillar into Yasuo, except this time it was Eri going through and No had collapsed with the rumble ult, able to get in there. And if they were a little bit more coordinated, you can see how tanky Max Trobo is and was able to kind of chunk them out. He's already at 2 items on a tank at 24 minutes, pretty good overall. But with the damage dealer dead of Piglet, they were not having enough DPS to trade back there.
Yeah, easy team fight win. See, Eri also finished item number 2. It's a Rage Blade of his own. We'll take out the turret here as well, but equalize that objective. No even staying roamed up to try and fight with his team, despite Max Strobo pushing the waves down there in the bot lane.
And surprisingly enough, FlyQuest feel like they have complete control over this game. Ever since, you know, Eri grabbed that turret in the bot lane from the objective trade on the second Drake of the game, FlyQuest has been the one deciding when and where this action happens. And they forced it in the top side, didn't work out, but they instantly reforced mid.
And it feels like they realize that, you know what, they are strong players, and they can just kind of play a little bit crazier. They already seem, I think they already know that they're playing the map a little bit better. So now just try and fight, execute well, and Clutch, I mean, they're a good, scrappy team when they need to be, but if FlyQuest are playing faster, I don't think that's something you'd expect from Clutch, given what we've seen for 3 games straight already.
Right, now I like the idea. FlyQuest, every game has had the better mid-game. Whether ahead, they either extend it, or behind, they catch back up. And so they're taking the same philosophy, but trying to get a little bit more, be more aggressive with the fact that, yeah, we have better vision control. We are getting to objectives first. So instead of grinding them out, let's try and smash them.
Well, Pekkalov is also starting to split. No TP on this LeBlanc though, so can't stay too long. But FlyQuest actually looking to pressure onto the first tier 2 turret of the game, with Sun and Vantage Veil poking away when FlyQuest try and run in for a potential siege. Cloud Drake also up and available. We'll see if FlyQuest want to peel off for that one, but looks like Clutch are back and ready to try and fight again.
Feels like a lot of this is no grouping up a lot right now. He doesn't have TP and Max Turbo does, and so he'll push a side wave and then collapse in, and Max Turbo is not going to clear as fast and gets caught out, and it allows, or gets caught in a side lane, excuse me, stuck there, wave clearing, and FlyQuest has time to make odd man plays. This time, maybe a 5v5 for this Drake. Hard for FlyQuest to walk in though.
No vision, Clutch going to steal that one away.
Sleep lands. Body blocks come in by the tanks.
Yeah, FlyQuest back to mid lane, looking to siege things up. No, almost got that TP back and ready. Might change the texture of a lot of these lanes, because like you mentioned, FlyQuest are staying very clumped at this stage. Moon actually maybe too far forward. No, he's okay. Goes back towards the right-hand side of mid. Another pillar on the Vulcan though. Tekkenuk trying to dodge in, gonna force the ult out from the Alistar. Still lands the chain. Quan, he's gonna land the stun after it. This should be a pick-off. Glacial Pitcher finds two. Vulcan low, still not dead, but Eri finally picks him up. Goes to sleep though, and gets blown up by Moon. What a bubble by Sun to turn the fight back around. And now Meteos just trying to run.
Nice bubble.
Gets himself slept. Quan steps in front. Flash from Meteos. There's the Unbreakable.
Oh baby, these are touch and go. As once again, FlyQuest is the one who goes and pulls the trigger first. They find Vulcan caught out, and even though he has his ultimate available to break out a 1cc, they have so much to layer on top, and they know Piglet was topside wave clearing. They're able to find that kill, but a nice bubble by Sun allows Moon to go in and finish that kill off, and then it was a long chase down sequence where Max Turbo, after TPing in, just couldn't quite get a good ultimate off. Starts out once again, pillar onto Vulcan, into the chain. He's going to ult the chain off and try and run forward. Oh, actually, he ulted before then. Bit of a mistake there by Vulcan. Didn't actually ult any CC off. And then there you see Moon go in, really ham, trying to get the wall hit off on his Q. Put him in a little bit of a risky situation. Then Vulcan was getting, or excuse me, Max Turbo was getting body blocked by Quan. I thought we were about to get another fight, so I was like, gotta wrap it up real quick.
I just noticed as well that I assumed that Sun had just point blank sniped Eri with a bubble, but it was a trap on the ground. He just glanced over the hitbox. So I think Eri probably thought that wasn't going to hit him. We'll now know for next time to be extra careful around Zoe bubbles. But if he hadn't stepped a little further forward.
Yeah, one of those mechanics that a lot of people feel like maybe Zoe doesn't need that.
Maybe.
There's a lot of stuff on the ground in games these days.
That's true. One, oh, getting chunked.
Nice angle by Sun to get around the Unbreakable. You can hit him from the backside. It's not going to matter that the shield is facing you.
That's true. I feel like that's a common like action RPG game mechanic.
Oh yeah, the classic. Don't stand in the circle that hurts you. Walk around the targetable part.
That's always about. Oh, nice. Equalizer actually going to find Piglet.
Whoa!
They do snipe him down. Eri's still alive, I think. No, about to get killed, but Moon looking to get the pick up after the stasis.
Oh, the fail flash.
To the wall. Just headbutts the trees. Not a good look at all. And it's Clutch now moving forward. Still having to fight 4v4. Sun getting to land that poke, but no, still threatening. A 1-for-1, but a tough one as both bot laners are down.
And felt like a little bit over-eager by Eri there. It was a really nice ultimate by Node to basically burn Piglet down right at the start. They don't actually have any defensive tools for Piglet. There's no shields to come in when that happens. There's no Tahm Kench to eat him out of any damage, so there's nothing that they can do about it. And that's something that they can keep doing over and over again because it's an immobile Piglet, and he doesn't want to burn his flash just for a Rumble ultimate. So that's going to be a big problem as this game goes on. This right here, they can just do every single time Piglet starts to walk forward. Pillar, Rumble ult, half HP. LeBlanc necessarily doesn't need to go in there. That was a little bit scary. And then the bigger problem was Eri deciding to go in because he gets punted right on top of Moon. And then, I mean, even if he flashed over that wall, they're still dead. Yeah, that was just a bad flash overall.
Tekkenuk also getting chucked down by Max Trovo, but he's going to run out and dash over a wall. Eri's like, all right, not this time. Doesn't even have the ulti, so can't follow it even if you wanted to, despite getting the tag with the plasma. Sun picks up a DLP off the ground. And looks like we're back to this dance around the mid lane for priority over these monsters. Baron is still up and available for the first time take in this game. And then Infernal Drake number 2 will be up in a minute 35.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, he went over the wall.
Yeah, Moon going. Pekkenwolf's like, all right, get me out of there. Damage from Moon not bad, but the dodge out from the collateral damage is nice. Put to sleep. Paddle stirred.
A lot of chunk landed onto FlyQuest members. I wonder if they're going to try and turn this onto a Baron attempt after they clear this minion wave. They've done a lot of the early work for it. Instead, looks like they're going to commit to the siege, which feels a little difficult to me with no still on the map. You can expect to just see an ult come through here. Or, actually, they're going to concede this objective.
Ooh, Meteos gets tagged. Nice ward from Clutch. Let Sun get that bubble. Looks like FlyQuest want to hold their cooldowns for maybe an upcoming fight. I mean, no, we'll hold on to it. Oh, maybe now.
We'll see. I mean, the Infernal Drake was around a minute away when he chose not to ult there, and if you think the enemy team's going to do it on cooldown, you might not have it up in time, but the same token, you just lost in the mid lane turret for it after Graves had used his ult, so it wasn't like you weren't going to get an ult for nothing there. Either way, Clutch Gaming do get that. They reset a little bit. Moon had gone back to base and got back on the map, and with that time, FlyQuest are actually going to try and start this Baron off.
See if they turn or they do want to try and finish it off. I can't imagine they go for some sort of 50-50 because Moon is back out on the map and Sun is
we got hit with the Drowsy.
Meteos goes Drowsy. Volkan tries to dive in. He gets a 3-man palm. Now Eri trying to cut it out of the way. The stun does land. The ult's going to move Quan back into the team. But no, it's amazing. No, he snipes maybe both carries there. Takes down Piglet, gets shut down by Sun. But he was so close to killing both of them.
Oh my god, so many people made huge plays in that fight. Vulcan getting the flash 3-man pulverized was huge to set the team up, but they just didn't have enough damage to finish off Meteos, who got his subjugate off, and it was only Max Trobo dealing damage. And as people tunneled on those kills, they stepped too far forward, and No had a huge equalizer available onto the backline members, which killed Piglet. But then as he flashed in to finish Sun off, he flashed right into a bubble as well. So a lot of big plays by a lot of people in that fight.
And as a result, a couple kills back and forth. Clutch with the Infernal Drake.
Take a look, obviously a great bubble that just barely snipes Meteos out as he picks it up. The Unbreakable, or excuse me, the ult by Braum stopped Vulcan's first attempt, but he commits with the flash in, but then that Rumble Equalizer on top of where Sun was gonna have to go back to was great, but then he just barely gets slept and allows Sun to continue to run away, making that a 1-for-1 overall after it looked great for both teams at different points.
Well, now that we're kind of back to a little bit of breathing room, I actually want to touch in on Eri's build. I haven't got there yet. I've seen, you know, a lot of Kai'Sa now that the items are kind of bit. Never mind. There's no time for that. There's no time. There's no time at all. It's actually Vulcan getting collapsed on again. Moon over the flank, looking for Eri. End of the line, not going to bounce back here, but Quan pretty low, eats the collateral damage straight to the dome. Oh! From Max Trobo, but actually enough to ult onto Moon by Eri. They're going to pick up the jungle, but the fight's still breaking out. Another great equalizer there by No, but the rest of the team has to get away. Sun bouncing through walls as Max Trobo continues to try and find something, but now maybe Max Trobo too far forward. He's going to have to flash out of the way. No,
here comes
down.
Vulcan.
Vulcan again, looking for it, but a great flash by Meteos gives Eri the kill onto the support. Blastcone is there. He's going to get out of the way, but he didn't auto it. Instead, he eats a bubble. That's going to be Eri dead. No, pop the Zanyas. Beckenwolf going over the top, he's into illusion form, but Max Trobo still finds a shutdown onto Eri.
Madness pastry.
It is madness.
Absolute madness as so many individual fights break out over the course of that. Eri's hopping onto Moon, everyone else is going into a 5v5 meatball in the middle, and then people start getting chased down. Vulcan goes super aggro, trying to finish off and set up another kill for his team, but gets finished off by the Kai'Sa. Oh my god, this feels like one of those games where people were playing so reserved for so long, respecting the stage play, and then as you feel like your playoff dreams are coming to an end, you start fighting tooth and nail and pull the enemy team into this extremely scrappy game. As it starts all out onto Vulcan, and Moon's off in a good position initially, but then Eri is able to take this ult that he lands from his W to finally isolate Moon out and get that kill onto him. Meanwhile, Piglet's hitting Meteos, and so you should be pretty happy as the 1-for-1 jungler for support, but they get chased down. Good decision by Clutch to chase, as you don't want to have the mismatched jungler situation. Then they get the top laner. Vulcan goes really hard on Meteos, forces the flash, so all things considered not that bad because they still get the cleanup kill onto Eri. Bit of an interesting decision to auto Max Trobo there instead of the Blast Cone, maybe cost him his life, hard to say. At the end of it all, was it 3-for-3, I believe?
Yep. And we're back at it again with Baron still up and available. Packmore still trying to poke in. Quan going to sleep. As a minion wave there to protect him. That Sun still looking to throw in Paddle Stars. Try and poke people down. Packmore again finds Moon. That's a lot of damage. Very squishy Graves.
Yep, see if he can sustain a little bit off jungle camps. Does have Raptors available.
Nice. Oh,
wow.
That didn't work.
That messed up area though. Big paddle star by Sun.
Another bubble. Meteos just tanking them, but he has to because Sun is going to poke the carries if he doesn't. It's a bad time to be a jungler right now. He's kind of the only frontliner for his team, so he kind of has to tank them all.
Bad time to be a color caster. Can't get any points in with this amount of fighting. It's insane.
All right, Eri back. Again, teams respawn, reset. Still looking for the Baron. Side lanes though in favor of FlyQuest Academy, so maybe all this hard work and patience will pay off around the objective. See if they want to rush it down.
Yep, and Eri going for a very furious build.
Yeah, it's Stormrazor plus AP, which is what I was trying to get at earlier.
And we'll see if we get a chance. Still a lot of vision control and pick-off attempts by both teams right now.
I'm not going to risk it just yet because Baron is still up and available.
That Strobo seen on the bot side makes them want to start this one off. Does have TP to get involved.
It's going to get spotted here. That's the TP channel by Gragas. FlyQuest staying on it. They're going to try and finish it maybe, but they can't.
Nice,
And now
right
they're
to
split
Glory.
up. Good equalizer again into the choke point, but Piglet stays safe. Sun takes some damage, but not too much.
Nice job by Vulcan, able to scare the three-man core off the Baron buff alone. Feels like if FlyQuest were more coordinated on that, they might have been able to do that, cut off the entrance with the Rumble ultimate and finish burning the Baron down as no one else had really gotten around. But either way, it's a super, super tense game. I'm sure comms are absolutely cluttered. It's hard to decide who should be doing what exactly.
Nice timing from Quan. Stops the incoming bubble. Here's Meteos looking for a pillar. Gets a carry. Sun knocked up. It's going to force a flash. Bubbled again, but he's okay this time around. And slowly summoners are being taken off the key members here. Is it going to be grindy battles around this Baron, Mark?
Doesn't feel like grindy with how non-stop the fighting is. I mean, Moon goes up to the top side to clear a single wave, and during that time, Clutch Gaming plays back. But as soon as he's back with his team, I fully expect them to continue poking and prodding. Sun jumps forward trying to poke people. Pekkenwolf jumps forward trying to poke people. Both of them have to get relatively close range. Meteos fishing with his pillars non-stop. Uh-oh, Moon.
Why is he that way? Nice angle there from FlyQuest. Eri going to pop the ulti, and that's going to be a kill on the jungler. He is dead for 60 seconds.
And that's just a complete lapse of vision control. You can see that with the extended fighting that both teams are going for. They have no vision in the top side or in the river. All that they had was some wards in the enemy jungle. And so after losing mid control, an excellent decision by FlyQuest to sneak into his jungle, catch him on the red buff because he had just shown top side. So you think he's rotating back through his jungle.
Oh, no.
They're able to get Baron buff. And during that time, Clutch Gaming are instead going to try and trade out for the Elder.
Those got ulti. Even if they get this might go horribly wrong, and Clutch gets scared away by a single blue trinket. That's going to give FlyQuest the Elder Dragon as well.
This feels like a major turning point in the game. The Baron buff plus the double Elder Drake that's going to go in their favor. All off the Moon pickup, who have been playing so well up until then, was 6-3 and 5 before that. And then gets his red buff, but no vision control. Cost his team almost the game, maybe.
Well, we'll have to see, because it's going to be a tough push for Clutch to try and repel. See what they can get done. Waves back towards FlyQuest now, so Eri and Pekkenwolf going to go clear up bot and top. But should be a pretty long and rough siege for Clutch to try and live through.
Yeah, they don't have great wave clear up. Piglet's your best bet. But he has been extremely delayed with his build path after a very rough game. It started pretty well for him. Now it's 0, 5, and 6. Just gets Rumble ulted constantly. Hasn't been able to finish his IE. Went for the Hex Drinker to try and start surviving through that a little bit better, but that has delayed him for so long. As you see, after that Baron buff, the gold graph just go flying back in their favor. 3K was not very substantial, but now it's looking really rough for Clutch.
Yeah, I mean, given how close the game was, it's a fine swing nonetheless. Looks like FlyQuest just to season things up. Happy to take their time here. Pekkenwolf is guiding minions into the mid lane, so should have 2 lanes of pressure, and looks like with the top side building, can make it 3 with a minute 45 they still have left. This turret was almost certainly there, so they take that one pretty easily.
Yeah, we'll see if Clutch Gaming can hold on to the base. This is the main objective of this Baron push for FlyQuest, to try and break this bot lane inhibitor turret open.
Happened to Piglet's life total. I think that must have been a Kai'Sa W.
Kai'Sa W, maybe a LeBlanc damage, but with how much AP Kai'Sa has built, she is no joke.
Turret mid down as well. FlyQuest starting to mow through them now. 5 turrets to 5, finally equalizing with Clutch. Sleepy Quan. Everything's okay. So I'm looking for the mending webs anyway. Vulcan, 1Q, 1W, so it takes about a third of his health. Drowsy. Quan gonna stand in front of his AD. Make sure it's all okay. And Pekkanov is just taking the mid inhibitor turret solo there.
Yeah, well done by him.
Reaction's not fast enough there from Clutch. And LeBlanc is surprisingly potent as a split pusher, especially with Baron.
And that's where she's at her best, a 1-3-1 kind of setup. Not quite the old Hextech Gunblade that was absolutely oppressive, but still, with how slippery she is phenomenal at hitting turrets.
Yep. AP buffs helping out here for the mages, and that's Pekkanov going to take the mid in here basically on his own. And FlyQuest still have pressure. I mean, that top tier 2 is probably dead as well, just in minions, so they might lose a lot here for Clutch. I think they need to defend this inhib.
I think the bot inhib is the most important one for them to protect in their mind, but looks like they're going to lose this one too.
Again, top is there, so Pekkanov can maybe even dodge out if he needs to, but it's dead at FlyQuest Academy. They really want to take this inhib, and they are going to get it by the looks of things. Sees a couple more autos. The Baron Cannon's helping out. Baron buff just wearing off.
Yeah, Baron buff timed out, it looks like, so it does not have the range advantage on the minions. Those all die. Sun's going to move up to the top side, but during that time, FlyQuest finally able to grab that bot lane inhibitor. A very successful Baron siege, all things considered, able to take both inhibitors down. Very important to get the bottom one, because we basically had a 10-minute ARAM to lead up to that Baron situation, and because of that, mid-wave will not be a super high priority wave because so many people are already going to be around it. But if your bot lane is auto-pushing and you're in this kind of ARAM situation, it becomes very difficult to play for Clutch Gaming, who now, their last goal is to somehow be able to protect themselves from this top lane push that is feeling pretty inevitable for FlyQuest now.
And if that isn't successful immediately, there's a Baron to fall back to that is almost assuredly theirs as well. So that first seed was tough, the next one's going to be tougher. FlyQuest again, go back by. There's a death cap now for Eru, who's got 6 items. Pekkanov also working on his. Rumble's got many, many items as well. I mean, Clutch aren't doing too badly on the item front, and the gold is relatively close between the two teams, but this is an extremely tough map position for any team to try and navigate.
Yeah, definitely the case. Trying to find potential angles. FlyQuest grouping up all together, trying to get wards over walls. Spot any potential flanks from coming in.
So one of those things about Zoe, really good on offense, significantly less good on defense.
Yeah, as soon as minions start getting in the way, the body blocking that they can do is pretty substantial and makes it very difficult to find those pickoffs.
Expecting FlyQuest to stay pretty patient here though. Again, just wait out. Pekkanov is guiding the mid super minions in. Also getting some poking where he can. Latches Max Trobo. Gets himself out of there, but is forced to burn the flash. Yeah, now with the super pressuring bot lane, there is some room now for FlyQuest Academy to try and seize this final inhibitor turret.
Yeah, Max Turbo didn't want to pull the trigger on his ultimate, thinking he needs it for the fight, so not actually able to bounce Pekkanov back in, but still gets the flash out of him nonetheless.
And Clutch doing a good job defending here. Still a minute left on Baron though.
Yeah, but now with the minions finally hitting the Nexus turrets, they might be able to find a window here on the top side to move in. Maybe not, as looks like that was the last super minion wave in the mid lane at least.
Pekkanov also forcing here and just trying to poke down the carries and be annoying. It looks like FlyQuest are finding too much success. Good poke there from Kai'Sa onto Piglet. Zoe and Graves. Plus, I guess the engage potential is making FlyQuest pretty wary to go under these turrets to try and shoot them down. And instead, I think like Baron will be the call here in 20 seconds time.
Yep, great vision control on FlyQuest side. So far, it'll be very difficult for Clutch Gaming to walk up. The threat of LeBlanc hopping over any wall and instantly assassinating Piglet or something, they're obviously not going to feel very safe going forward. They can also probably just 2-mana Baron. Trundle and Kai'Sa will be enough damage. They can take this one pretty slow, however they want to do it.
Yeah, I think Pekkanulf will likely stay here in the mid lane. Get some poking on where he can. FlyQuest actually trying to set a fight up here, but they're on top of the little vision that Clutch actually have.
Yeah, it feels like there's only one pink ward left available for them. That's on no.
Finally sweep it all out, so now Clutch have to be extra careful. Yeah, Meteos knows he just has to run. Quan instead blocks it, and the Chain of Corruption miss from Piglet. Moon is trying to force a fight here, but the Equalizer is so good in that choke point, and now they're going to jump in. This could be it for FlyQuest. They're trying to force a 5th game. Moon, low, Quan burns his stun in there, as Pekkanulf is able to take out the jungler. It's stopwatches everywhere. There's been a sail on them, as Max Strobe is trying to dive his way back in, but the Sleepy Node gets sniped by Sun.
Oh, it feels like FlyQuest got way too far ahead of themselves after the good start to the fight, but they didn't actually find any kills initially. The no ultimate that burned through the front line was fantastic, but instead of turning back on the Baron or something right away, they tried to end the game. They get really aggressive. Ahri takes an ultimate in that almost cost him his life, cost him his flash to get out. Now Vulcan's in there. Not sure he'll be able to do anything, just throwing wards over. Moon is dead, of course, so no Smite Steal contest. FlyQuest grabbed their 2nd Baron of the game, but that was a very ambitious fight as Vulcan has to flash headbutt to a minion to stop that tether.
And FlyQuest continuing the pressure, TPing in. They're going to try and take the elbow or just force a fight with Moon still dead for 15. This is basically the same thing that happened before. FlyQuest, they got the Baron, they're going to get the elbow basically for free on top of it.
Moon's up in 6. We'll see if they choose to fight here.
Need to regroup the rest of the team though. Quan coming back. Maybe actually now a window for Clutch to do some contesting. Don't have the speed shrine, but they're going to buy time for Moon, who's actually killing the last wave of supers, I believe. So Meteos going to force on a Max Strobo. He's going to get killed. That might be a kill. Ahri not risking the dive. Can't see the carries as Meteos now has to dance around the rest of it. Pops the Stoneblade, gets knocked back in. Vulcan again also trying to find the fight, but Pekkanulf, he dives in onto Piglet. That's the kill they need. A massive equalizer from Noah in the choke. And that's Vulcan getting picked up by Ahri. Piglet low also gets burnt down. 2 kills for Rumble. A drowsy Quan, but it's not going to matter. Moon, he's here so late as Meteos escapes over the wall with the blast cone. Ahri, he's battle in the front line trying to take it down, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Another kill onto Moon. Ahri may have died, but I think FlyQuest 4v1 can finish the game.
Most likely the case. They're all very, very low. Meteos is going to drop here.
Sun's doing work. Oh, the Paddle Star redirect is just not enough. Meteos will stay alive, and Pekkanulf and the rest of the team are TPing in to try and finish off the game.
Quan TP's back in. Summoner Spellbook over to that one. Or Unsealed Spellbook, excuse me, as they get the ace in the jungle outside the Elder Dragon. Very close to going in favor of Clutch Gaming. Some very minor mechanical flubs will lead us into a very important Game 5.
Yep, no one here to contest, so the Nexus is FlyQuest for the taking. And they'll push us all the way to game number 5.
You can see the looks on their faces, though. They know what's coming next. They're not going to get too excited over that win. They have one more to go in this very close, very long, very hard-fought series.
I think the thing you said there is the first place I want to go to. This is a long best of 5.
Oh yeah, this is going to definitely test their mental fortitude, this game, coming up in Game 5. And you could feel it.
Test our mental fortitude, Mark.
What do you mean, man? I love watching League.
Me too.
Yeah, I think this was a game where you could feel it starting to slip for these guys. Like how bloody this early game was in comparison to the other ones was kind of the indicator that these teams are starting to feel the pressure of getting eliminated.
And I think despite all that, there is, like, it's tough. You have to pick kind of the perfect balance, right? That's the best way to approach a lot of things, League included. I think like fighting more when you're playing too passively is a good adjustment to make, but you don't want to go so far that like you're throwing yourself into the enemy and like giving up things that you shouldn't be giving up. So I like that FlyQuest in particular are willing to take a few more risks, but you can tell both teams are just like scrapping, tired, throwing out punches, hoping something connects.
Yeah, and they it was not as scrappy of team comps either. So you're trying to play this style without the 4 assassin melee thing that they had in the previous game. So led to a lot of team fights where people were getting picked off towards the end of them.
And we just have a highlight package, Mark. So let's look at some of the moments. High, low, and fun.
This is when FlyQuest really started upping the tempo of the game. They try and dive Piglet, who kites it out very well, and then everyone starts converging on the map. fact that they never break this turret down makes it so that it's going to constantly contribute over the course of this fight. Not quite on the same page by Clutch either, though, so they have to blow a lot of resources to try and find these kills. Eri has no idea that Sun's coming in the backside to clean him up very easily. And during this time, they're continuing to dive forward. Pekka gets finished off by the turret, which, like I said, still alive over the entire time. They get an ace, but that doesn't stop FlyQuest from going forward. And they just start basically ulting Piglet with the Rumble ult non-stop. And you see, as an immobile champion with no protection on his team, there's nothing to stop that kind of combo from happening. So he had to diverge his build path into heavily itemizing MR. That slows him down from hitting his power spikes. And then the game gets crazy from here as frontliners try and finish people off but lack the damage. Big CCs coming in just at the right time. Stalls out a lot of these fights. People get isolated. Eri goes in onto Moon. They're not fighting front to back. Once again, you see the Rumble Equalizer splitting Piglet away from these team fights, so he had a very difficult time trying to get involved and deal damage over the course of this. But Sun had a fantastic game on the Zoe. It's kind of see why he was 5-1. He was cleaning up a lot of these kills in the fights. But it was very hard for them, as it did feel like their 5v5 team fight damage got a little bit outscaled by the Rumble, by the Kai'Sa, and they had a little bit less playmaking.
I think Eri A-move there, by the way.
You think that was an A move?
Yeah, you can't A-move blast plants. I learned that the very hard way in a sort of cute game. But again, this I think the final fight of the game. I mean, Meteos looks like he's like absolutely trolling here on Trundle, but as it turns out, another Equalizer and Eri just run in for the cleanup.
Yeah, and you can just see how little there is to do. Now Sun starts wrapping around the fight, and despite the fact that it didn't look good, I thought they might potentially be able to clean this one up. Can't get the kill on the Quan, eventually get the kill on the Meteos. Or, excuse me, don't get the kill on the Meteos. Everyone just escaping at 0 health. Quan's going to do the same thing. No one ends up dying but Eri, unfortunately, and then Sun doesn't have it left in him to take that one out. You see...
Look at that ride.
That is a wild ride.
It is. Well, almost 50 minutes in that game. Not quite there.
And
just under 49.
The thing I want to point out is Piglet's damage in this game. 20k after having some monstrous games before this one. His tank Gragas doing more, his Graves doing more. And it really, really highlighted just how difficult of a time he had in this game, walking forward to auto-attack people. He just never really had that chance because he was getting zoned away by Rumble ult, by LeBlanc hopping in, and I think the Varus pick we were talking about, oh my god, FlyQuest didn't go for it, but it definitely didn't look like Clutch Gaming was 100% ready to use that.
No, and I think in a lot of ways, my biggest surprise so far of the series, apart from like how close and how back and forth this whole series has been, I think it's actually been No in the top lane. You know, we were like, this guy's a consistent role player that like kind of got the hand from Shrimpin, Kane to win the finals last time. Now he's, you know, back with a lot more experience, willing to play things like the Rumble that he has had success on, but even Jace, which he has not played at all this season, I believe. It's just one of those things where he's a player that we thought kind of only did one thing, and it's shown us that he can do quite a lot more.
Yeah, he's definitely a big player stepping up. Meteos as well, just constantly.
He's pretty good.
He has constantly controlled the objective substantially better in situations where he probably doesn't have pressure and shouldn't be able to do that. That has been a big part of the bridge in a lot of these games that leads to these stall outs because they have better vision control. They're getting objectives they shouldn't get, which denies the enemy team from being able to snowball with those objectives. And you combine just some very tenacious play out of FlyQuest, makes it really hard for Clutch to convert their early advantages.
Well, with all that, we are tied up and headed to a game 5. Queue up the Silver Scrapes, Mark, and we'll see you after the break. About to set a 3v3, but the Glacial Fissure is good. Eri just dodging into trying to kill Piglet, but the turret is still up. A good double pulvers. Moon actually takes down Quan. Piglet still low, finally dies. Very dangerous here as Eri is playing with fire, but he gets knocked out by Maxtrober. Flashes out to safety, just barely. Doesn't go down. Eri still may be fighting his way out of this one, but now Sun's around here. Portal jump auto, easy kill with a shutdown onto Alistar is good. Pekka taking up the turret is also going to die, and Clutch under a turret get an ace. Little part with those guys. Oh, nice. Equalizer actually going to fight Piglet. Whoa! They do snipe him down. Eri still alive, I think. No, about to get kill, but Moon looking to get the pick-up after the stasis. Oh, to the wall. Oh, here comes down. Vulcan. Vulcan again, looking for it, but a great flash by Meteos gives Eri the kill onto the support. Blastcone is there. He's going to get out of the way, but he didn't auto it. Instead, he eats a bubble. That's going to be Eri dead. No! Pop the Zanyas. Pekka going over the top. He's into illusion form, but Maxtrober still finds a shutdown onto Eri. Meteos now has to dance around the rest of it. Pops the Stoneblade, gets knocked back in. Vulcan again, also trying to find the five, but Pekka, he dives in onto Piglet. That's the kill they need. A massive equalizer from No in the choke, and that's Vulcan getting picked up by Eri. Piglet low, also gets burnt down. 2 kills for Rumble, a drowsy Quan, but it's not going to matter. Moon, he's here so late as Meteos escapes over the wall with the blast cone. Eri, he's battle in the front line trying to take it down.